everyone, so for today we're going to be making orange blueberry cinnamon rolls. So for the dough, I have 2 1/3 cup of flour. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 packet of active dry yeast, and we're going to use 2 teaspoons of blueberry salt. You can use regular fine salt, but I have this on hand, and since we're making mixed berry cinnamon rolls, I think it might add a nice flavor to it. So we're gonna mix all the dry ingredients together until everything is well incorporated. Now in a pot, I have 1/2 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of water, and 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to freshly grate some orange zest into it, just like this. Maybe like 1/2 of an orange, because the other zest we are going to use in the glaze and the filling. Maybe like about a teaspoon of orange zest. Beautiful. We're gonna let the butter melt and the temperature come up to 110 degrees. To the dry ingredients, I'm also gonna add 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. And once our temperature of the butter milk mixture has come to 110 degrees, let's check that really quick. So about 110. We're going to add that to the mixture and mix well. Into the mixture, we're also going to add 1 egg that we've beaten, and we're going to mix it until a dough forms. Now we're going to take out our dough onto a lightly floured surface and knead it for about 4 minutes until it becomes a nice smooth round. Now once we've kneaded the dough, we're going to place it in an oiled bowl and cover it with plastic wrap for about 10 to 20 minutes. You don't need that long for this dough to rest. So we're going to loosely cover it with some plastic wrap, and let's get started on our filling. Okay, to get started on the filling for the mixed berry compote, it's going to be 1 cup of frozen berries that I've defrosted, so you can kind of have the juice with it as well. And I put in 3 tablespoons of fresh orange juice, and I have 1/2 teaspoon of orange zest. I'm going to add 1/8 teaspoon of blueberry salt. You can use fine salt, like regular salt. And I am going to use, instead of vanilla extract, I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of orange blossom water. So we're going to add that in there. Beautiful. And then the last thing we're going to add to this is 1/4 cup of sugar. Now we're going to heat this up on medium heat until it becomes nice and thick, and then we'll add our cornstarch slushy. Now I put the berries on the stove, and I put the heat on high. I'm going to bring it to a boil and then reduce the heat to medium-low and let it simmer until it becomes nice and thick. So now for this cinnamon sugar mixture, I have 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 5 tablespoons of softened butter. We're going to cream this for about 2 to 3 minutes. I switched it over to a smaller bowl just so it's easier to mix, and it's super light and creamy and beautiful. We're going to set this aside and get back to our mixed berry compote. Now it's been about 10 to 15 minutes. I have a cornstarch water slurry. It's about 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch with 1/2 tablespoon of water. We're just going to mix it well till it's all liquidy and the cornstarch is combined with the water, and then add that in, just like that. And then we're going to stir this and let it get all thick and luscious and really nice. You can already see it starting to thicken up. So we're going to cook this for just a minute or 2 until it becomes the consistency that we like. So I took out the berry compotes into a little dish. We're going to let it come to room temperature. You can see how thick and delicious that looks. It smells wonderful. You can really smell that orange blossom come through. So we're gonna let that come to room temperature and we're gonna start to roll out our dough. So this is how our dough looks. Now you could let it rest for 10 minutes and it would work perfectly fine, but it ended up being almost an hour and a half because I got distracted and I was doing other things. And look how much it grew. So we're going to lay this out on a floured surface and then roll it out. So we're gonna roll this dough out to a 9 by 18 rectangle, and it's a really nice dough. It's easily, I don't know if that's a word, but it's easily rollable. So we're going to just measure to make sure it's gonna be 9 by 18. Okay, now that it's rolled out and you can see the specks of poppy seeds and the orange zest, it's so pretty. We're going to add our butter and cinnamon sugar mixture all over the dough, just like this. And it should be pretty easily spreadable because it is softened butter and we creamed it, so it's super creamy. That looks great. And then we're just gonna spread it. Now on top of that, we're going to add our berry compote mixture, just like that. And it should equal about 1 cup. And we're just gonna use the same rubber spatula and spread it all the way to the edge. It smells so good, you guys. Now to roll this out, we're going to start off with the shorter end and roll it into a tight log. Just like this. So I'm going to continue all the way down, making sure it's rolled pretty tightly. So we're gonna cut this into 16 even slices. I'm gonna start cutting it in the middle first. Ooh, maybe I should have used a different knife. Let me get a different knife. Okay, so there was definitely like a massacre of this cinnamon roll thing. I think I put too much of that compote mixture, but we have our cinnamon rolls here and we're going to let it rest for about an hour, and not all of it fit in my pan, so I have another one. Those are kind of like the messed up ones that kind of unrolled and unraveled with this whole situation happening. But they smell great. So we're gonna cover it and let it rise for about an hour. Now for the cream cheese glaze, I have 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 ounces of softened cream cheese. The butter is softened as well. A pinch of orange zest, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of blueberry salt. You can use regular salt, and 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. Now we're gonna mix this well and cream it all together to make a glaze. To the creamed butter, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. And we're adding 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. Now we're gonna mix this all together until it's creamy and smooth. And that looks great. So we're gonna set our frosting to the side, and these are our mixed berry cinnamon rolls. They've almost doubled in size. We're preheating the oven at 350 degrees. Now we're going to, I overdid it. We're gonna add about 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream to the top of the cinnamon rolls, actually. So this is 1/8 of a cup. 1/8 of a cup and a half. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna do 1/8 of a cup and half of 1/8 of a cup of heavy whipping cream over the top. We're gonna put this in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350 degrees. So we've taken out the cinnamon rolls, and you want to frost them when they're hot. So we're just going to do that just so it kind of melts and gets into all the little crevices of the cinnamon rolls. Ooh, they look so good and they smell really yummy.